Welcome to Stoicism for Seniors, your guide to timeless wisdom and inner peace. Aging is not just about growing older, it's about growing wiser. In this channel, we bring you the life-changing wisdom of Stoicism, tailored for seniors who seek strength, clarity, and peace in every stage of life. From the teachings of Marcus Aurelius to Seneca, we explore how Stoic principles can help you embrace aging with dignity, navigate life's challenges with grace, and find true fulfillment. If you're ready to cultivate resilience, master your emotions, and discover a philosophy that empowers you daily, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and embark on a journey of wisdom, strength, and serenity. Have you ever wondered if the sacrifices you're making for love are worth it? In today's story, we follow a man who at age 70 dared to pursue a connection that rekindled a fire he thought had long died. But what started as an exciting romance quickly turned into a costly pursuit that tested his self-worth and dignity. Stay with us until the end as we reveal the powerful lessons he learned along the way that show how true love and self-respect must coexist, no matter what age. Click the bell to get all of our newest material. I'm interested in hearing what you think about today's topic. If you like the content, please leave a one-star review below. If it doesn't appeal to you, please leave a 0. I greatly value your feedback as it aids me in creating more engaging videos that align with your interests. Friends raised their eyes and whispered their doubts from the very beginning. He knew this relationship would not be easy when his own children spoke up. They were more direct, giving him straightforward warnings and heartfelt concerns. But deep down, he felt doubt, a nagging whisper that made him wonder if this was a beneficial idea. Despite being 70 years old, he still harbored a burning desire to defy age and expectations. He longed for a connection that would remind him of his youth, when love was exciting, limitless and full of possibilities. It wasn't just a fleeting hope, it turned into a deep-seated need and an ALC-consuming desire to relive that feeling, to get back what he thought time had taken away from him. What started as a cautious step toward romance quickly turned into a fervent chase, an obsession, and he poured his heart, energy, and soul into this relationship, thinking of it as his last true love. But he had no idea how much it would cost him. He wouldn't know until it was too late to back out. In the early days, she seemed like a breath of fresh air, a burst of light that made him feel alive in ways he hadn't felt in years, reawakening a strength and virility he thought had long faded. She seemed to see something in him that he had long forgotten, an allure, a charm, a vitality that he didn't know he still possessed. Every time she looked at him, he felt invincible, capable of defying time itself, and he responded with fervor, treating her with a level of care and devotion that he'd reserved only for the most cherished people in his life. He showered her with gestures of affection, lavishing her with gifts and praise, doing everything he could to make her feel like a queen in his eyes. She was a miracle, a gift he couldn't believe had come into his life so late. Yet even in the midst of this bliss, small warnings were planted, subtle cues he didn't yet recognize. At first her demands were almost imperceptible, little requests wrapped in that same sweet charm that had so captivated him. He willingly accommodated her suggestions and preferences, eager to make her happy. But slowly, her requests became more pointed and insistent. Her tone exuded an air of superiority that he initially mistook for confidence, a playful assertiveness that he found intriguing. He didn't yet realize how he was gradually changing into something different, something he hadn't intended each time he changed, to please her, which took him further away from his own sense of self. But he thought it was all worth it because every little thing he did brought him closer to her heart. As the months went by, though the warmth started to fade and she became more distant, her compassion carried a hint of contempt for those foolish. He didn't want to admit it, but her comments about his age and the limitations that came with it hurt more than he wanted to. She pointed out flaws that he used to be proud of, or had learned to accept with grace. "Men your age really should take better care of themselves," she would say with a smirk, as if he were a project that needed fixing. He tried to laugh them off, telling himself they were just jokes and nothing more. But as time went on, the jokes became more frequent, each one digging deeper into his insecurities and eroding the confidence he had worked so hard to build up over the years. He started to feel like a stranger in his own skin, a man who wasn't young enough to meet her expectations, but desperately wanted to hold on to her. The breaking point came when she started criticizing the closeness. They shared an area he had always thought was holy. He believed that love encompassed more than just physical affection, and he knew he could provide her with an abundance of warmth and tenderness. Shame didn't seem to see it that way, so she started to criticize him in ways that hit him where he was weakest, saying things like he was slow, predictable, and wanting her words. Stoicism for seniors pierced him deeply, leaving him feeling vulnerable and insufficient. He attempted to reason with her, reassuring her that his age did not affect his capacity to love deeply and make her feel cherished and wanted. However, her sharp, unyielding comments only intensified his feelings, reverberating in his mind long after she had left. He was desperate to show her how valuable he was. He took a final step and reminded her of the unique qualities that no younger man could offer. He told her with quiet solemnity, even though he no longer had the strength of youth, he knew how to bring her pleasure through the gentle intimacy of his mouth. It was a truth he shared with the sincerity of a man who had lived, loved, and learned, but instead of softening her reaction, it was cruel. She laughed, a mocking, dismissive sound that stripped his words of their honor, turning his vulnerability into something she saw as pitiful. Her mockery was like salt in a wound, burning and corroding the remnants of his pride. He felt humiliated, but he clung to the hope that perhaps this was merely a phase, a test of his resilience and dedication. As days' resilience turned into weeks, he convinced himself that if he was patient and understanding, she would eventually recognize the depth of his commitment, the sincerity of his heart. He believed that his love, enduring and unwavering, would win her over, that she would come to appreciate his devotion. But with every passing day, her words chipped away at his sense of self-worth, driving him deeper into a dark place where he began to see himself as nothing more than an aging man who could offer little to a woman as young as she. She made him feel invisible, insignificant. A man past his prime, clinging to a dream that perhaps had been foolish from the start. To outsiders, his decision to stay might seem baffling. Even pitiable friends who knew his suffering wondered why he continued to endure such pain, why he allowed himself to be diminished by a woman who clearly saw him as disposable. But those who have loved deeply understand the strange binding power of love. Despite the pain, he was unable to leave because love had become deeply ingrained in his heart. His heart clung to memories of how sweet she was when they were young, those fleeting but unforgettable times when he felt young and alive. And despite the pain, he stayed longing for a love that had once been his refuge but was now his worst fear. He was tied to more than just her youth. He was tied to an illusion. He yearned to demonstrate his value to someone whom Gaz seemed unable to perceive. Beyond his ears, he realized he was lost in the shadow of someone's approval, a mirage he could never reach. And in a moment of stark clarity, he made a decision late one night after a painful confrontation where her words reduced him to something lesser. He looked in the mirror. Staring back was a 70-year-old man, his face etched with lines from years of living his eyes heavy with stories of both joy and sorrow. He saw not just the toll of age, but the strength of experience, the marks of resilience in that instant. He understood that self-love needed to speak louder, that he could no longer be diminished by someone who would never accept him for who he truly was. With courage, newfound courage, he decided to confront her, and he did so calmly sitting opposite her. He explained that he loved her, but he could no longer endure the pain. Relentless humiliation, he told her he was ready to walk away, that he was choosing himself over a love that only brought suffering. She looked at him in shock, clearly taken aback, as if she had never imagined he would find the strength to leave in that moment. He felt the first stirrings of his dignity return, the dignity that had been slowly eroded with every hurtful word and belittling look. It was a painful conversation, but also liberating, and he felt for the first time he was acting his age, not in the sense of surrendering to weakness, but embracing the wisdom and strength that comes with maturity. As he left her home, a profound sense of relief washed over him. A weight he hadn't realized he was carrying suddenly lifted. He remembered all he had lived through, the endless experiences that had shaped him, the countless memories stored within him. He realized that he was valuable, that his worth didn't fade with each wrinkle or grey hair. He now understood that not everyone is capable of seeing true value, especially those who only focus on what is superficial. He saw clearly that by surrendering himself to her demands, he had lost his way, but by walking away he regained not only his pride, but the quiet serenity that comes from a love only he could give himself. After that, things were not easy. He could clearly hear the sound of silence as loneliness set in. This loneliness felt clean and honorable, like he wasn't trying to prove himself to someone who would never understand. He started to find comfort in his own company, realizing that even without her, he was still whole and a man with history and value. The experience taught him that real love isn't based on youth or physical attraction, but on respect, kindness, and appreciation that lasts through all ages. Each line on his face was a memory of a life well lived, and months later he found that life could still hold surprises for him. Even after a breakup, Joy reconnected with friends he hadn't seen in years, friends who loved him just the way he was. He traveled to places he had only dreamed of seeing and rekindled interests he had put on hold for a long time. He took up hobbies that made him happy. Simple pleasures like painting and reading. As the days went by, he realized that his worth wasn't based on the approval of a younger woman, but on the peace he found within himself. He accepted that getting older was a gift because it gave him the wisdom to know what really matters. Each line on his face told a story, and each silver strand served as a testament to the life he had built, its struggles, and to older people who might be grappling with similar questions. His journey is a gentle lesson of what's important. Everyone values love and aspires to receive it. However, pursuing love should never compromise your inner peace. Time teaches us that we can only learn some lessons through experience, and we must strongly guard the treasure of respect upon reflection. He realized that his relationship with her was both profound and painful lesson. He learned that he had to love himself completely, flaws and all, before he could receive love. Not only did leaving her mean the end of a relationship, but it also meant reclaiming himself and putting his own heart ahead of the never-ending search for approval from others. Hearing his story is a powerful example of how self-love is not a luxury, but a necessity, even when the world seems to be working against us. This story, this journey of rediscovery, is one that maybe only the elderly can fully understand. They know more than anyone else that a person's value is not measured by how vigorously they are, but by how honestly and gracefully they handle life's challenges. Every wrinkle transforms into a symbol of honor, and each gray hair signifies the wisdom he has accumulated over the years of life. His journey tells us all that dignity is priceless, and that real strength doesn't come from holding on to things that make us weak, but from having the courage to leave them behind and choose love, peace of mind, and happiness. Lesson 1. The myth of young love. The glow of youth can be appealing, but it's important to stay grounded and not fall for the idea that being with a younger person will make you feel better. Pride and happiness. Many young people, like the character, spend time and energy on relationships where they look for approval from someone who doesn't really see their worth. The need to prove our survival and strength can become a trap, leading us to tolerate disrespect or indignities that we would never tolerate. In other aspects of our lives, love should be a place of comfort, respect, and reciprocity. It should not be a place where we have to prove ourselves. The desire for fun and adventure as a child shouldn't get in the way of the need for a deep relationship with someone who sees and values our true selves. It is crucial to love yourself unconditionally. The story powerfully shows that self-love should always come first, no matter how much we care about someone else. For example, the character gave up some of his dignity by enduring criticism about his performance and age. He thought his endurance was noble, but it was really him giving up his sense of self-worth. In order to be in a healthy relationship, one must first love themselves. We expose ourselves to manipulation and poor treatment if we don't respect ourselves. Realizing that we deserve love and respect at all ages is essential. Loving ourselves is the first step in any healthy relationship. Only when we value ourselves can we expect others to do the same. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons helpful, please leave a comment below. Number 1. The third lesson is to have the courage to acknowledge that solitude is the path to inner peace. It's not just an act of separation to leave a relationship that's become toxic. It's also an act of reclaiming oneself. When the character left, he didn't just leave a relationship behind him. He left behind a circle of humiliation. One of the bravest and most honorable things we can do is choose solitude over continued pain. Loneliness may seem scary, but it gives us a chance to rediscover our own worth and find peace within ourselves that no one else can give us. In this sense, solitude serves as a sacred space, fostering the restoration of self-esteem rather than a source of fear. By having the courage to be alone, we give ourselves the freedom to heal, reframe our lives, and find happiness within. Lesson 4. Valuing experiences and cherishing wisdom. At an advanced age, our experiences and memories are our true wealth, richer and more lasting than fleeting beauty on the outside. The character's journey shows us that every line and crease has a story behind it. Every mark signifies a life fully experienced. People who are only interested in youth and physical beauty stay stuck on the surface and don't see the deep beauty that comes with getting older. They strive to appease those who fail to recognize the true essence of their identity, their knowledge, and their beauty insights. Our resilience is ultimately a futile pursuit. As we get older, we gain a perspective that sees beyond the surface, embracing the depth of human connection and the wisdom that grows from decades of life. Rather than conforming to ideals of perpetual youth, embracing our own history. Strength and knowledge makes our lives better and attracts people who can truly appreciate our essence. Finally, this story teaches us that keeping our dignity is priceless, especially as we get older. Maintaining dignity while seeking love and acceptance is a natural and beautiful emotion. It should never compromise our self-respect. The character learned that his true worth wasn't based on how other people saw him or how old he was, but on how he dealt with problems. Dignity is realizing that we don't have to shrink ourselves for other people if that's what makes us feel positive about ourselves and lets us leave situations that don't honor us. As he reclaimed his life, each wrinkle turned into a badge of wisdom, and every gray hair became a crown, showing how resilient and strong he was for older people. This journey serves as a reminder that dignity and self-respect are treasures more valuable than quick approval, embodying a wisdom that few achieve but brings peace beyond measure. Lesson 5. Genuine intimacy is from kindness, not from feelings of obligation or shame. He learned that a man who takes the time to think about his partner's happiness often has a spirit of generosity and care. Despite not being as physically attractive as he once was, he believed he could express his love and devotion through tenderness such as oral intimacy. This experience demonstrated to him that physical closeness in a relationship goes beyond mere performance. This commitment shows a readiness to put the needs of a partner ahead of one's own pride in order to provide a connection that goes beyond physical boundaries. However, he also learned an important lesson. Respect be two-way. While pleasure is a beautiful expression of love, it should never serve as a tool for control or shame. What he learned is that real closeness means respecting and loving each other without turning acts of love into duties or reasons to criticize each other. This professor's lesson serves as a powerful reminder that love and devotion are essential in every relationship. Respect is reciprocal. One should never take someone's kindness or effort to please for granted, or use it to diminish their status. To be truly close to someone, you have to respect every action they take and never use an act of love against them. This is a call to contemplate self-love and dignity. If this story spoke to you and you think these lessons can help others find more peace and confidence, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. Also, please share this message with people who may be struggling to find self-worth, dignity, and respect in their relationships. Often it's through the wisdom of those who have been through hard times that we learn how important it is to love and treat ourselves with respect. As we think about these lessons, we can learn how to age with integrity and self-worth. It becomes clear that real aging means staying true to your own values and self-respect. Looking for love and companionship at any age is normal and satisfying, but we should never sacrifice our honor. That being said, this story is a strong lesson that self-respect is something we give ourselves and should never give up for the temporary approval or validation of others. True love makes our lives better, but it never forces us to give up our most important beliefs. The lessons in this story are deep and can help anyone, but especially older people who may be struggling with self-worth, love, and identity. When we reach a certain point in our lives, it's normal to want to feel loved and respected. But as this story shows so beautifully, the search for love should never come at the cost of our dignity and self-respect. As we get older, we may feel like we need to prove our vitality or change ourselves to fit someone else's expectations. However, there is immense power in staying grounded, resisting the lure of superficial approval, and choosing to honor our true selves with all the unique experiences and qualities that only come with age. Each year adds new layers of wisdom, resilience, and self-worth depth to our being. These are the treasures we carry within, an invisible but powerful legacy we leave for others to see and feel. As we age, our worth is not defined by what other people think of us. It comes from the strength we find within and the courage to stand firmly in our truth. The main character in this story rediscovered his sense of self-worth and inner peace by accepting the whole of his life's journey, by choosing to love himself first. He had the courage to end a relationship that was hurting him and his sense of self. This wasn't just an end of a romance choice. It was a deep act of self-affirmation, a renewal of his spirit, and a dedication to his own dignity. This trip brings to light a basic truth: believing in self-love, self-acceptance, and self-respect alone is insufficient. These fundamental practices provide stability during life's challenges as we age. Fear or loneliness may lead us to tolerate situations that don't benefit us, but this story serves as a reminder that we are worthy of more by walking away from relationships or situations that don't see our worth. We honor the strength we've built up over decades. Every line on our faces, every grey hair, and every memory we hold shows how strong we are. Society may praise youth as beautiful, but there is a greater beauty in knowing who we are and being strong in that knowledge. In many ways, those who have lived long enough to truly understand what's important preserve life's most important lessons. This character's journey of self-discovery is a powerful reminder to all of us, but especially older people, that love and friendship are gifts, but they should never force us to give up our essence. It takes courage to look at your life, admit that you need to change and make choices that put your own worth first for older people. This story is a powerful call to see solitude not as an enemy, but as a chance to connect more deeply with yourself. Rediscover old passions, reconnect with friends, and grow. Joy on your own terms. This story empowers us to emerge from heartbreak, not weaker but stronger, as we understand our true worth. This story reminds us that every step we take towards self-love is a step toward inner peace. It also tells us that our worth is not based on what other people think of us, but on the quiet strength we hold within at a time when we may feel pressured to set or compromise. This story encourages us to hold on to our dignity, stand firm in our values, and embrace the person we have become through years of successes, challenges, and growth. This story is for anyone going through similar struggles. It's important to remember that our real worth comes from being smart, honest, and strong. Our journey is unique, our experiences are irreplaceable, and the value we possess within is unparalleled. Inner peace and self-respect are unmeasurable treasures, and picking yourself up when things get challenging is an act of courage that shows the beauty and power of a life well lived. In the end, as we come to the end of this powerful journey, ask yourself what you've learned about love, self-worth, and dignity. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories and lessons.